Nobody in that room was ready for what went down. The courtroom was already buzzing. Tension so thick you could cut it with a knife. Everyone locked in, waiting for the next witness to take the stand. Then, boom. The double doors swing open, and in struts Kid Cudi, cool as ever but with a fire in his eyes. This wasn't just another celeb cameo. Cudi was here to drop a nuclear bomb on Diddy's world, spilling tea about jealousy, break-ins, a Molotov cocktail aimed at his Porsche, and a wild tale of Diddy rolling up with 3 guns to confront Suge Knight. He brought receipts, police reports, phone logs, and a recorded call with Suge himself, painting Diddy as a straight-up thug running a criminal empire. Cudi heads straight to the witness stand, not glancing at Diddy, not acknowledging the whispers. He adjusts the mic, takes a deep breath, and starts, "I'm here because Diddy didn't just cross a line. He tried to burn my life to the ground." The judge nods, and from that second, the whole trial shifts. What Cudi's about to unload isn't tabloid fodder. It's a raw, ugly truth about Diddy's wrath, tied to Cassie, a vendetta, and a string of crimes that scream racketeering. "I didn't ask for any of this," Cudi says, voice steady but dripping with pain. "I was just living my life, making music. And yeah, I started dating Cassie in 2011 after she left Diddy. That's when the nightmare began." He tells the court it all kicked off when Diddy got wind of their relationship. "I wasn't trying to start beef," Cudi says, leaning forward. "I was happy. Cassie was happy. But Diddy, he couldn't handle it. He made it personal." He paints a chilling picture. "One night in December 2011, he came home to find his place trashed. My front door was jimmied open, my stuff was everywhere," he says. "Gucci Christmas gifts I'd gotten for Cassie, boxes ripped apart, tissue paper all over the floor. My dog, my poor dog, was locked in the bathroom, whining like crazy." The jury's hanging on every word as Cudi drops the bomb. "It wasn't a random break-in. It was targeted, and I found out why real quick." He says he got a frantic call from Diddy's assistant that same night. She was freaking out, saying, "Oh my God, it looks like your house got burglarized by Diddy, 'cause Diddy is here." I could hear him in the background, barking orders. Cudi's voice hardens. He wasn't just checking on me. He was looking for something. Maybe proof of what I was giving Cassie. Maybe just to mess with my head. The courtroom's stunned. Murmurs bubbling up. Cudi holds up a police report, the paper trembling slightly in his hand. "I filed this right after," he says. "Nobody knew about it till now. I wanted to confront Diddy, but I heard he had at least one other guy with him. I wasn't dumb enough to walk into that. I thought that was the end of it," Cudi says, shaking his head. "But 12 days later, I'm pulling into my driveway and I see my Porsche, my baby, smoking. Someone had tossed a Molotov cocktail through the sunroof." The jury gasps, one woman covering her mouth. "It didn't fully catch fire, thank God, but the intent was clear," Cudi says. "They wanted to scare me, hurt me, maybe worse." He looks straight at Diddy. "And I know who they were." Cudi says Diddy never owned up to it. But months later, they had a tense run-in. "He pulled me aside, mumbled some half-ass apology about things he'd done," Cudi says. "Never said what, never explained, just wanted me to let it go." He holds up the police report again, plus a photo of his charred Porsche interior. "This isn't letting go," he says. "This is evidence." Diddy's face is a mask, but his knuckles are white, gripping the table like it's his lifeline. Cudi keeps rolling, tying his story to the racketeering charge at the heart of the trial. "This wasn't just a jealous ex losing his cool," he says. "Diddy didn't act alone. He had his crew break into my house, his assistant cover his tracks, and when that didn't shut me up, they went for my car with a firebomb." He pauses, letting it sink in. This is a man who uses his people, his power, to run a criminal operation. He controls, he intimidates, he destroys. Cudi's voice rises. "And I'm not the only one he's done this to." Cassie's lawsuit? That's just the tip of the iceberg. The room feels like it's shrinking, the air thick with the weight of his words. "You don't do this stuff solo," Cudi says, pointing to the defense table. "You need a network, a machine. That's what Diddy built, and that's why we're here." The prosecution backs Cudi up, flashing texts between Diddy's assistant and an unknown number, timestamp the night of the break-in. One message reads, "Boss is at the spot, says check the gifts." Another, hours later. "It's handled, but he's pissed." The jury's scribbling notes, some looking at Diddy like he's a puzzle they're finally solving. Cudi adds, "This wasn't random. He was jealous, yeah, but it was more than that. He wanted to own Cassie, own me, own the narrative. When he couldn't, he lashed out with his goons." Then Cudi drops another name that makes the room sit up straight. Suge Knight. "This isn't just about me and Cassie," he says. "Diddy's been playing this game for years, and it's bigger than any one person." He recounts a story the prosecution dug up, backed by testimony from Diddy's former security guard. Diddy and Suge Knight, they hated each other's guts, Cudi says. Bad Boy versus Death Row was a war, not just a rivalry. He tells the court about a night when Diddy's team got word Suge was chilling at Mel's diner on the Sunset Strip. Diddy didn't send a text or call for a sit-down, Cudi says. He told his assistant, "Get in the car," grabbed 3 guns and peeled out for Mel's, ready to throw down. The courtroom's buzzing now. 3 guns. Cudi leans in. Think about that. 3 guns. That's not a conversation. That's a death wish. By the time Diddy rolled up, Suge had bounced, but the intent was clear. He wasn't there to talk, Cudi says. He was there to end it. The prosecution plays a recorded call with Suge Knight, who's serving time in California for a separate case involving a man's death in a parking lot. The interviewer dives in. "The prosecution made it appear that Diddy was going to confront you in a very ominous way with 3 guns in the car. Did you guys have serious beef to the point where he might have used those guns?" Suge's voice comes through, low and gravelly. "Do you think if he confronted me and he had a gun, you best believe me, he was going to have to use it or something's going to happen? If he had 3 guns, it's really just know something was going to happen." The jury's eyes are wide as Suge keeps going. When you're dealing with drugs and alcohol and even fear, some people feel if they scared enough they feel they got to do something. The interviewer pushes, "Do people bring guns to use them or to protect themselves in a situation like this?" Suge's blunt. "If you got the serial number, you bet you best believe they both need to use them." When asked if he was armed that night at Mel's, Suge laughs. "Harvey, you know I'm in prison. I probably was armed with my Bible." Cudi picks up the thread, his voice sharp. This is who Diddy is. A guy who rolls with guns, who sends his crew to break into houses, who thinks he's untouchable because he's got money and muscle. He ties it to the racketeering charge. This isn't just one bad night. Diddy's got a network, assistants, security, fixers, who do his bidding. They buy his drugs, they cover his tracks, they scare his enemies. That's not a boyfriend losing it. That's a crime boss. He points at Diddy. "You didn't just come for me. You came for Suge, for Cassie, for anyone who dared cross you. That's your empire, and it's built on fear." The prosecution pivots to another witness, a manager from the L'Hermitage Hotel in Beverly Hills, who spills that Diddy used fake names and had rooms set up with special amenities, like extra linens and candle setups. Cudi shakes his head, almost laughing. "They're trying to spin that as racketeering, but come on, that's just a dude living his life, maybe having a wild night. It's not a crime syndicate. He's real with the jury. Don't get distracted by hotel receipts. The real crime is what he did to me, breaking into my house, torching my car. The real crime is him chasing Suge with 3 guns. That's the Diddy you need to see." As Cudi nears the end, the judge gives him a chance for a final statement. He stands, tall and unflinching, and faces Diddy. "You thought you could scare me into silence. You broke into my house, locked up my dog, tore through my gifts. You sent someone to firebomb my car. You thought I'd back down." He pauses, letting the silence hit. "And you thought you could roll up on Suge Knight with 3 guns and keep the whole game on lock." Diddy's motionless, jaw clenched, eyes glued to the table like it's his only anchor. Cudi turns to the jury. "This isn't about a jealous ex or a bad breakup. This is about a man who built a machine to hurt people, to break lives and call it power. He's not a mogul. He's a thug, and he's been running this racket for years. He points at Diddy one last time. You thought your money, your crew, your guns would keep you safe, but the truth don't care about your bank account. It's here now, and it's louder than you. Cudi steps down, and the courtroom's a live wire. Murmurs, gasps, reporters typing so fast their laptops might catch fire. He doesn't look like he won a prize. He looks like a man who just dropped a boulder off his chest. Cudi skips the press outside, no waves, no smiles, just walks out with his head high, carrying the scars of a fight he never wanted. A reporter catches him later, asking if he's scared of Diddy coming for him again. Cudi smirks. Scared? Nah, I'm free now. Let him try. The fallout's instant. Clips of Cudi's testimony and Suge's call go viral before the bailiff can blink. Hashtags like Cudi speaks, Diddy down, and Bad Boy exposed blow up on X. Fans are pissed, digging up old Bad Boy stories, death row beefs, and Cassie's lawsuit, connecting dots like detectives. Hollywood's in full panic. Execs dodge calls, PR teams churn out weak, "we're shocked" statements, and Diddy's old pals suddenly can't remember his number. The internet's a war zone, resurfacing Diddy's shady moments, like tense interviews where he dodged questions about Cassie or smirked about keeping it in the family. Fans even pull up old Cudi lyrics, swearing he was dropping hints about this drama years ago. Back in court, Diddy's defense team fights back, painting Cudi's story as a crazed ex-boyfriend saga, not racketeering. It's criminal, it's stupid, it's violent, they argue, but it's not a crime syndicate. It's like a jealous guy slashing tires, just on steroids. They compare it to messy breakups, saying Diddy's actions were personal, not organized crime. The prosecution fires back, pointing to Diddy's employees buying drugs, the coordinated break-in, the firebomb attempt, and the armed diner chase as proof of a criminal network. This isn't a one-man show, they say. Diddy's got assistants, security, fixers, all moving like a well-oiled machine to protect him and punish his enemies. They flash more evidence. A text from Diddy's assistant to a security guard saying, "Boss wants it quiet, handle the Porsche." The jury's taking it all in, some nodding, others stone-faced, weighing whether this is racketeering or just thuggery. Whispers in the courthouse say more witnesses are coming, maybe Cassie herself, maybe more bad boy insiders. For now, Diddy's in deep on coercion and sex trafficking charges, but racketeering, that's still a toss-up. The prosecution's banking on Cudi and Suge to show Diddy's not just a hothead, but a calculated crime boss. The defense is betting the jury sees a guy who lost it over a breakup, not a mafia don. That night, Cudi posts a black-and-white photo on Instagram. Him and Cassie from 2011, laughing, carefree, her head on his shoulder. Caption, "We made it through." Truth wins. No hashtags, just heart. It explodes. Millions of shares, comments from fans, artists, and survivors cheering his guts. "You spoke for all of us," one writes. In prison, Suge reportedly tells a cellmate, "Cudi did what I couldn't." Put that truth on blast. The trial's far from over, but one thing's crystal clear. Diddy's empire is shaking, and the silence he built it on is crumbling fast. Sub to Stranger Crime for more fire. New drops every day. Hit that like, share this, and let's keep it real. Stay safe, stay curious. Catch you next time.